Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas.
And welcome to the Deuce Podcast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy, we're doing something special this holiday season. We are checking out the second installment of classic TV Christmas specials.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd do something different.
Yeah.
These aren't necessarily movies, but Christmas specials that aired. Very popular Christmas specials.
Yes.
You would say. We found very unique and interesting trivia that goes along with, you would say, possibly the second installments.
Yes, yeah.
But there's a little weirdness to that we'll get to. We're going to do the sequels to Frosty the Snowman coming up here.
Yes.
But first, we want to make a honorable mention. There's a sequel to How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or a prequel that we found and watched.
Right.
Called Halloween is Grinch Night.
Right.
And I guess, what can you say about this special? By the way, all the specials that we're talking about, you can find on YouTube. So you can watch this on YouTube.
Yes.
Which I really recommend you watching this on YouTube. Not for the reasons of being great, but just being very, very weird.
Yes.
And I think I was watching this movie and I said to myself, this movie is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I've seen the movie Holy Motors.
Yeah, this thing is a trip.
It's crazy.
Well, it's... Okay, so just quickly touching base on it. The whole story is, like, we were like, okay, Halloween is Grinch Night. And we're thinking it's going to be kind of like, almost like Nightmare Before Christmas, where it kind of blended the two holidays together. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It is its own kind of, like, encapsulated thing. We found out, like, as we were starting to watch it, and we were like, what the hell's going on? And we looked it up and realized it's actually a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it just makes no sense because there's, like, stuff that disconnects it from the other ones. And so after we got done watching it, we were like, let's just talk about it, but it's not going to be our focus of the episode.
Yes.
But...
Because it's not necessarily... Because A, it's a prequel, and B, it's a Halloween special.
And it's not,
so it's
really
not really
even a Halloween special.
Not really.
No, it is...
A Dr. Seuss special kind of
It's like
thing.
a Dr. Seuss horror movie.
Yeah,
It is
kind
so
of.
strange. I really don't know how much to describe it outside of, like, whenever there's this, like, sour, foul-smelling wind that comes in and, like, these conditions are right, the Grinch's powers are, like, at full peak.
He has powers?
Yeah, apparently. So they had, he was up on his mountain, and the foul wind comes in, which starts these animals growling at each other, which makes the water churn, which wakes up these, like, I don't know, sort of Loch Ness monsters that start howling.
Yeah.
And when all those conditions are right, he can do other things. Like, he changes shape, and he can, like, grow giant and shrink down, the Grinch can. So he takes his... they say when all this happens that he goes on the prowl. And so he takes his cart and starts going towards Whoville. But then, like, we have a song from the dog Max.
Right. Played by Henry Gibson. You might know him from The Burbs.
Yeah,
from The Burbs.
And Laugh-In.
Yeah, Laugh-In.
Yeah, and he sings, but, like, it's not really Max doing it, but it's, like...
Inner dialogue?
Yeah. It's very strange.
Inner dialogue?
Correct. And so we have...
Josiah?
Yeah, there's Josiah.
Mariah.
Josiah and Mariah are, like, the grandparents or parents.
People know Dr. Seuss a lot with rhymes. This thing is the worst rhyming thing I've ever...
Well, it drops in and out of rhyme scheme.
Right.
And then sometimes it won't rhyme at all, and sometimes it rhymes too much. And sometimes it's kind of like this... It's this, like, weird rhyme pattern, like...
Yeah.
Like Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah,
like,
I just was going to say that. Like, imagine
sometimes where his,
inviting him over, Lin-Manuel Miranda over for, like, a dinner party, and all he wants to do is keep rhyming everything you say, but he can't do every word correctly.
You know how,
or he can't figure it out really.
You know how
quickly.
like sometimes he rhymes like the middle of words.
Right.
Like he'll rhyme. He'll do like assonant rhymes where he rhymes like the vowel sounds for everything, and then like, but he draws them out when he does. You know, whatever. I'm like, okay, you know, but that's kind of what this does. And then sometimes they just drop out of it altogether. Sometimes they just talk.
Yeah, and I mean, the original one was kind of like that, but like this was really bad.
Not to this point. No, this was just really bad. But okay, so
Boris Karloff was deceased by then, so he
Yes.
did not play Grinch.
But Hans Conried did it.
Okay.
Who was the voice of Captain Hook
Yes, Captain Hook
from the
and-
Peter Pan animated.
Yeah, and the guy who did Tony the Tiger, who was the original singer, is singing in this one as well.
Thurls Ravenscroft. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a name!
Yeah. No, it's fitting.
Right.
Yeah. That guy's voice is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, but what's the weird thing? So, I mean, this thing's weird. Like,
Okay.
his eyebrows come to life
Okay,
at
so
one point.
I'll give you a little quick summary of
Yeah,
something.
please.
So everybody sees the foul wind is coming, and so Grandma and Grandpa, Josiah and Mariah, take their kids, including Euchariah, which is all this is just so they can rhyme it.
Right.
He takes them inside. He decides he has to go out. They keep saying, I have to go to the euphemism, which is basically, we know it means he needs to go to the outhouse. He needs to go take a shit or something.
Just say that.
Yeah. And so
I know
you could have rhymed that better.
People really wanted to cancel Dr. Seuss, but they should have canceled.
You know, I would suggest if they really, like, first off, nobody canceled Dr. Seuss. But
No,
if they
no one
did, I would suggest they did this. But back in the day, they kind of tried.
Yeah, but not for the same reasons as
No.
today.
So they chase down. There's like a puffball creature that's like an endangered species in their place. It's the last one, and like the Grinch is hunting it down.
It looks like if a Wuzzle like bathed in Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And just was all like, yeah, and like tried to be cute about it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. It was weird. It has nothing to
creepy.
do with anything.
no, nothing.
But like, they try to chase it down. Max ends up like stopping the cart so the thing can get away. So then Max and the puffball creature are in trouble, and Euchariah has blown up to the mountain, and so he keeps trying to interrupt the Grinch to stop him from getting to the town. And at one point, the Grinch starts singing this nonsense song.
Oh, it's
It's nonsense. I need to mention that for a reason. So it's nonsense, but he starts singing it, and his eyebrows fly off and turn into like a creature.
like a bat.
Yeah, like a bat kind of a thing that flies around and terrorizes them.
What? The
So that's
fuck?
part of his magic is he can make his eyebrows do those
Didn't
things.
know that.
Nope, I don't think anybody knew that. And then, like, so he he goes past, and so Euchariah is like, I can't let this go. And so then he, like, slides down the hill to stop him again. And eventually the Grinch, keeps getting past him. And then he snaps his fingers, and all these, like, little rungs come out of the side of his cart, and he makes Euchariah climb to the top of it. When he climbs to the top, he opens the top of the cart, and this like blob thing that kind of looks like the Grinch comes out, and it's like he releases like evil spirits, or it's like
something.
it's a fucking acid trip.
Then it turns into like what I said. I think I told you that looks less like Tim Burton and more like Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Or Tim Horton Hears a Who.
Yeah. Yeah. Tim Burton Hears a Who.
Yeah, Tim Burton Hears a Who.
Yeah, it was very weird. It reminded me of like how trippy that thing was, like with Winnie the Pooh, where they had like the heffalump thing, the marching thing, where it was like, oh my god, what is happening? It's like that.
But you said that you know some information behind.
Yeah. So
Give a little bit of that, and we'll kind of move a little forward. But
So this movie had a lot of weird controversy. Because, you know, like, it was already, like, you got attention because it's, you know, building off something that's beloved. So, it was people accused it of having subliminal messages involving occultism.
What?
Yeah. So, several characters formed horn signs by their hands because they were like doing these weird things, like poses and stuff. Supposedly, they said they were forming horn signs with their hands, the mark of the beast.
Like the devil.
Yeah. And so they keep talking about, I wouldn't go out for $6.60. And then they were like, I wouldn't go up for 66,600, whatever, dollars. And they keep saying these things, adding money on. And it's not even like 66,600. It's like 66,000 and some other random, like, more Susie number. But people say it's 66,600 and go, see, he says that. It's the mark of the beast. But that's not what he says.
Right.
But they...
Oh, so we had QAnon people back then.
Yeah, so they assume it's like that. So it's like, they say the mark of the beast. And then there's another musical number, As the Grinch Creaks Ever Closer, and it has a literature replacement to blasphemy. The Grinch sings in communist Russian text in the eyebrow song, is what they claimed.
They claimed, but that's gibberish.
It was gibberish. It's not Russian. Yeah. It sounds like it could be words, but it's not. It's just gibberish. It sounds like he's casting a spell. I mean, it's meant to be nonsense. And then the ghosts that come out of the things. Now, they are just like nondescript, like creepy looking ghosts. People said they thought that the first ghosts were supposed to be KKK ghosts.
What?
And that another one where it was like, it had 4 legs and was walking after him. They were like, see, that's a swastika.
People have too much time.
Yeah. And so it was supposed to be this huge, like, filled with occultism and hate symbols.
I didn't get that at all.
And Russian, whatever.
I thought there was a weird little
magic
thing that tried to, like, mix, like, early on, like, before Tim Burton and, like you said, Nightmare Before Christmas tried to, like, mix these two holidays up. So no, I don't think that. No.
Yeah, very bizarre.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb.
So anyway, that's all.
It was a 1978 Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Children's Program. So the Emmys don't always get it right. This is probably the case. It's really weird, but it's something that you kind of need to experience at least once. So I do encourage finding Halloween as Grinch Night or Grinch Night. Sometimes it's called It's Grinch Night.
Yeah.
So just look that up.
It's included on a lot of, like, if you have a Grinch DVD, it might be an extra on there.
It might be an extra or a bonus feature or whatnot.
Yeah.
So if you do have the Grinch Stole Christmas, it might be on that. But I encourage people to check it out just once to see how weird it is.
Yeah. Watch it on YouTube, if nothing else. So,
let's move forward to our main event, you would say. Our main talk, which is the Frosty the Snowman movies.
Yes.
Now, this is very interesting in itself, too, Jeremy, in the fact that we're actually... Frosty the Snowman has kind of 2 sequels in a way.
Yes. Basically,
the rights to the special were held by Warner Brothers, which used to license to the show for Freeform, the Freeform channel. Oops. Sorry. The later aired the special annual 20 Days of Christmas.
Yeah.
In 2018, AMC took over the license for the special because the ownership of the television rights to Rankin and Bass library was split into 2 parts. One including production prior to 1974 and one including after 1974.
Yes.
So the original one came before 1974. So because of that, Franklin and Bash did a sequel of that.
Franklin and Bash?
Did I say Franklin and Bash?
You said Franklin and Bash.
Yes, I'm sorry. We were making fun of their name. Franklin and Bash, also Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yeah.
Rankin and Bass, sorry, did a sequel to Frosty the Snowman called Frosty Winter Wonderland. But the telecast rights then were released to CBS, which made their own sequel called Frosty Returns.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about both of these. Again, both of these can be seen on YouTube, so you can look them up. Frosty Returns is quite amazing in the cast itself,
Yeah.
in the production of it, which is very weird, which we will get to, but let's talk about it.
They both have their strong points.
They both have their strong points, correct. But let's talk about Frosty's Winter Wonderland first.
Yeah, this reminds me...
Both by Franklin and Bash.
Franklin and Bash, attorneys at law.
Attorneys at law.
So this actually, like, I have to say, like, because I was trying to think, I'm like, we've had something like this recently. And we've seen things in the past where we were like, what? That's like, that was supposed to be a sequel, but then it became its own thing.
Right.
And then...
We find this interesting.
Yeah.
You know, by doing this podcast, it's opened up, you know, how rights are kind of given to certain properties.
Yeah.
And we go, what?
Well,
okay, we get this. And then sequels themselves, like what it's originally a sequel isn't necessarily the second installment.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to kind of backtrack and go, what's the true sequel?
Like all the Die Hard movies, where none of them were supposed to be Die Hard movies. They were all picked up as
from the
sequels to
detective
other things. Yeah. But even those, like, Die Hard 2 was supposed to be something else, and Die Hard 3 was a different sequel, and then, So, but I was trying to think of where we talked about this most recently, and it was with Halloween 2 and Halloween H2O.
That makes sense.
It's like, Halloween H2O, if, you know, is supposed to retcon back to the first one, so it's kind of the second in the series.
Kind of.
Go down that branch. Or there's Halloween 2, which is the other branch of it. And so it's just like... Oh.
Were Franklin and Bash in that too? I just wanted to say Franklin and Bash. I really think I should do a watch of Franklin and Bash.
I think so.
Anyway.
Should.
Frosty is, again, he is in Winter Wonderland. He is voiced by Jackie Vernon.
Yes.
Like the original, he was voiced by Jackie Vernon too. Shelley Winters is now in this movie as Mrs. Frosty. It says credited, or Crystal.
Crystal,
because he gets a wife in this.
Yeah.
Andy Griffith becomes the narrator because Jimmy Durante had a stroke.
Yes, and so he was incapacitated.
He could not do it. Dennis Day is Parson Brown, and Paul Frees is Jack Frost.
Yeah,
and the traffic cop,
voice actor,
amazing voice actor.
Yeah,
who did a voice in Bullwinkle? Who was he in Bullwinkle? Was
he was Boris?
Was he Boris? Yes, he was Boris in Bullwinkle.
Yeah,
so,
but he
much like Mel Blanc, he was very famous.
He did so many
in
things.
His voice of many talents.
Yeah, he did so many things. And he even did a lot of radio programs back in the day. But you can actually hear a lot of voice actors who almost picked up his style.
Yes,
I think even more than Mel Blanc, you can hear a lot of people where they kind of learned from some of the voices he did.
He's also he also was in the original ride of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
at Disney World.
Yes.
Excuse me.
So, do you want a synopsis on this?
Yeah, if you want to.
I mean, you kind of... Frosty's kind of lonely, so the kids think of making him a wife.
Kind of.
Crystal. But will Jack Frost let them be happy?
Frosty's kind of horny. And he really wants a wife.
Frosty's tired of Jack frosting off.
Jack frosted off. On his own.
Oh, why?
So the kids make him a wife.
Yeah.
They buy him a Russian bride from the snows of whatever.
So, I mean, this... Okay. So...
It's kind of cute in that aspect of like Frosty gets a wife.
Yes.
And she comes to life.
It's the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes, it is a Bride of Frankenstein in a way.
A sweet version of that. Sweeter version. Yeah.
And the kids want, Winter to always kind of be there. And they want Frosty and Crystal to marry. So they asked Parson Brown to marry. But then Parson Brown goes, I can't marry them. They're not humans. Yeah. We need to make a snowman,
I
Brown.
only marry my own kind.
Right. Thanks.
Snowism.
Parson Brown.
Yeah. You bigot.
Snowphobic.
Yeah. And but yeah, that was a weird piece. Yeah. So what we neglect to say is that then they built a third snow person. Mm-hmm. The Parson Brown snow.
Yes. Yes. But I like the scene where they were building Crystal And they're like, how do you want her, Frosty? And we kept going, give her big boobs.
Give her bigger boobs.
I like big boobs. I like,
Put them on there.
Put them on
Give
there.
her a healthy pair.
That's right. Please.
The
Don't let my snowballs turn blue.
They build her, and she's like, so the whole thing is Jack Frost. He's bringing winter around. Mm-hmm. The kids are excited that Frosty could be coming back, and he shows up. He sends them a letter saying he's on his way because the first snow happened. So he shows back up, and he's having fun with everybody at first, but then they all have to go inside. And, he can't come in there with them, so he's just, like, sitting under a tree, and they're like, you doing okay? And he's like, yup. You doing this and this? Yup. And I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, he's just like, whatever. Got all emo on them. And they were like, what the hell is your problem? And he's just like, lonely.
I'm lonely. When you guys go inside, I can't go inside. I'll melt.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay.
We'll build you a wife.
Yeah, so
What's a wife?
Yeah.
It's a thing that you order from a catalog.
She will have
Eastern
European accent. But no, they build.
I'll
him
take
a
that
wife.
one. What's the name of that one? That one's called Melania. I kind of want Crystal. Can I get Crystal instead?
So they build Crystal, and she's got a pink apron, and they gave her blue pearls for eyes, like little plastic blue pearls for eyes, and then like a thimble nose, and then a rag mop for
But it makes
hair.
her look old.
It does make her look really old.
With her not
gray
like
hair.
he's like, I like the Cougars.
Yeah.
But I mean, she looks really old.
But there's no mops.
I get that she's voiced by Shelley Winters, but does she have to look like Shelley Winters? Do you know what I mean? You don't have to.
Yeah.
She's talented enough that she could just rely on the voice.
Shelley Winters from Night of the Hunter. So they build her, and in the meantime, Jack Frost is trying to steal Frosty's hat. Mm-hmm. Because if he has it, then Frosty won't be able to move around. And because of that, then he thinks that kids will like him. Or
right. Kids will like
he's trying to ruin people's fun because he's not having any. And so he tries it first, but he steals one of the horse's hats on accident. And then after they bring Crystal to life, he brings her to life by proposing to her, giving her flowers made of snow. Mm-hmm. And when nothing happens, Frosty cries because he loves her, and then she comes to life. Mm. But after that, then Jack Frost steals his hat, and he turns back to a regular snowman. And Crystal makes him like a boutonniere because she loves him and she wants to marry him too. And when she puts the snow boutonniere on him, then he comes back.
Yeah.
So
that's true. Yeah.
And so he doesn't need the hat, but he does get it back. And so then they have the whole Parson Brown nonsense about not being able to marry them. And Jack Frost starts freaking out, and they're like, well, let's see if we can fix this. And so Frosty and Crystal go over, and they're just like, we wouldn't be here without you. Like, you bring the cold, and we live in the cold. They convince him
pretty quickly to just, relax a little bit.
Well, and part of it is because they're like, no, like, we would be honored. Like, you're a friend. Like, you helped make us. Like, why could we not
get that? But I kind of wanted more animosity from Jack Frost. Like, I needed a little bit more villainness to kind of.
Thought there was I thought it was interesting. It ends pretty quickly with that animosity piece, because then they were like, if you would be like our best person, or like, we need more snow people. So he joins them for their wedding, which seems fine. But I thought oh, this is pretty fast that this is over.
Yeah.
But then Andy Griffith comes over and says there's more to the story, because the winter, it went through December and January and February and March and then well into April, and it was still happening.
Yeah.
And it looked like winter wouldn't end. So I thought,
but he's doing that because not because he's angry. He's doing that because the children love it.
Yeah, it was an interesting second half to that.
Yeah,
because he didn't do it maliciously. what happened was Jack Frost was like, he didn't want Frosty and Crystal to leave, and the kids were loving the winter, and so Jack Frost is like, I will make it always winter, which is like, it's interesting to me because it's sometimes it's a fun villainous thing where it's like they're doing things for like out of love, but it's like horrible. And so like Parson Brown shows back up, and he was just like, well, like the trees want their leaves to come out, like flowers are supposed to come up. We're supposed to have anti-snowman marches. You know, we're supposed to do snow bigoted stuff. And but he says like they have to have these things. And so Frosty and Crystal are like, well, we'll go back up north during the warm season. It's time for us to go. And Jack Frost agrees to like let it go back to normal, but that the next year he'll do it again. And so they show at the end, they show back up the next winter.
Yeah, but there, like you said, there was something wholesome about seeing Andy Griffith.
Yes,
and hearing him sing.
Yes,
but then he just kind of like disappeared. He wasn't in it that much. He just kind of was like you would say like, walking on a lonesome roads kind of a way.
Yeah, it's just like Jimmy Durante with the narration piece. Like he was.
I just wanted to do a face in the crowd. I know you reference.
And I will say, the music in this one is more of like classic holiday winter kind of music.
But it's also all just, Frosty the Snowman. It's just a different version with Frosty and his wife.
And walking in a winter wonderland and stuff. I mean,
it's not really anything
it's classic.
new.
It's classic music.
Yes, it's classical.
There's nothing new about it, but like from a classic standpoint, you're like, oh, I know this song. I know this. Like you can sing along.
It's accessible. Yes,
you can. Correct. It's accessible. You can sing along to the whole thing. And the sound is good. Like the choir aspect of it sounds good. Like of the kids and whatever. And Andy Griffith sings, which I always love.
But it's nothing new, right?
Nothing new, music-wise. But
we're not reinventing the wheel.
From a classic aspect.
Yeah, correct. But where's our new stuff?
Very little effort music-wise.
Right, there's not any, there's nothing really new. There's not a new song.
Yeah.
It's everything we've heard before.
If you have a winter, like a song that you sing around the holidays that doesn't specifically mention Christmas, it happened during this.
Yes, correct. Now on the opposite spectrum, you have the Frosty Returns. Yes. Which is the other kind of sequel to Frosty the Snowman. Now, this is quite interesting, and there's... let's just talk about the cast for a second.
Yes.
So Jonathan Winters is the narrator of this one, as compared to Andy Griffith. With Jonathan Winters... So basically, you need to have the last name Winters to be in one of these cartoons. So
Ariel Winters.
Ariel Winters. We're calling you for the next one. So you had Charlie Winters and then Jonathan Winters, not related. Frosty the Snowman this time around, voiced by John Goodman. Yes. We have new characters: Holly, Elizabeth Moss, a very young Elizabeth Moss,
9 or 10-year-old Elizabeth Moss.
Yes, another kid named Charles, played by Michael Patrick Carter. You might know him as the kid from Milk Money.
Yes.
Yeah. And the town mayor kind of thing, right? Mr. Twitchell, played by Brian Doral Murphy.
The wealthy capitalist, Mr. Twitchell.
Yes. Brian Doral Murphy, or Bill Murray's brother. Yep. You might know him.
There's the crotchety neighbor lady,
played by Andrea Martin,
who's also a teacher, Miss Carbuncle.
That's true. She's also a teacher.
Who's voiced by Andrea Martin.
And then
Holly's mom,
by Jan Hooks,
named Lil. Yeah. She's voiced by Jan Hooks. Yeah.
Now, a lot of these people have a lot of things in common, and one of those common things is Mr. Lorne Michaels, who produced this. Produced by Lorne Michaels?
Yeah.
What the hell
is
going on with this? Okay. Again, this is very weird, and we have to talk about this. And we have to talk about the music.
By the way, I also should mention, it was written by Oliver Goldstick.
Who is the Peanuts guy, who did most of the Peanuts, isn't he? There's some guy that did the Peanuts.
He was He was like the producer of Pretty Little Liars.
Oh, Pretty Little
Ugly
Liars,
Betty.
Okay. Oh, Bill Melendez. He did the animator and voice actor for the Peanuts animated specials.
Correct.
A lot of this looks like a really bad version of Charlie Brown.
It looks like an SNL version of the
It
Peanuts
really
stuff.
does. It really does. And a lot of people thought that South Park was kind of like that weird kind of bastard child of the Peanuts.
Yeah.
But this kind of like has that in-between weirdness of it.
It does. It doesn't look like Rankin and Bass.
No.
It looks
This
like
is
they were
very
trying
much
to...
separated from the original in a lot of ways.
The main kid looks so much like a cross between Linus, Charlie Brown,
And Marcy.
And Marcy.
Which is crazy.
And his name is Charles.
Charles.
Yeah.
And Holly looks a lot like Peppermint Patty.
Yeah. And Lucy. Or
And
not Lucy.
yeah, like
not,
Lucy and Peppermint
Sally,
Patty.
that's what I'm thinking. Sally.
Oh, yeah. Kind of a combination of all
Yes.
that. It's very odd. But we forgot to mention the music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to mention the music?
The music is original.
Mm-hmm. But who did the music?
Who did the music?
The guy from Devo.
Oh, yeah.
Mark
Mothersbaugh. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, Mark Mothersbaugh does the music
So
on this.
this is an all-star cast. Everything put together is pretty crazy for 1992, including
Yeah.
Elizabeth Moss,
Yes.
who was up and coming.
Yeah.
She wasn't even in her height in
Yeah,
1992.
she'd done a few, like...
She had done like picket fences and like some other stuff.
By then, I don't know if she'd done picket fences.
She's pretty young.
Yeah, she's very young. She had done a few things between up to that point, like hardly anything.
And what did we learn today, folks? Elizabeth Moss was on picket fences. That's what we learned today. Anyway.
Yeah, she had.
Yeah. So this is crazy, and a lot of it. And honestly, even though I didn't know the music, I enjoyed the music.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Did you enjoy this music?
Yeah, I did.
In a weird way, it's toe tappy.
Yeah, it's toe tappy.
It was more modern than the original.
It's enjoyable, but it's almost like it's the flip side of a coin. Where like,
but it's also like
I could sing
not
along
memorable.
to the other one too.
Right.
But in this one, I'm like, it's interesting, but like I have no fucking clue. I don't remember most of the tunes or anything.
I'm never going to sing these songs ever again.
No. And so it's neat, but you miss out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There is one thing about the music that I remember. When it comes to a scene where the old man, the old man played by Brian Doyle Murphy, breaks into a rap, and he just like keeps rapping. It's not like a quick thing. He has a whole rap bit.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point he's like, "Cut the music." So I'm like, "Oh, you were really rapping in there." It's not like it was just like a needle drop rap by Brian Doyle Murphy.
But it seems very odd. This movie seems like, why was like Lorne Michaels so adamant about doing this? It just seems, because it's not a comedy. It's not like a parody.
No.
But it looks like it, like you said, it looks like it could be.
Yeah.
You know, like one of those TV funhouse things.
Yeah, but Lorne Michaels also does a lot of different projects that
Yeah.
you don't realize that he does.
Right.
But that's also probably why you have a lot of those people in there. He was able to pick up people he had worked with on stuff.
Right. Most of these people are either cast members from SNL or had the guest hosts
Yes.
on SNL. So, I mean, you have those people there. Jonathan Winters seems kind of weird and kind of out of place in this movie to me.
Jonathan Winters?
Yeah.
I think they wanted the narrator aspect again. But he's... Okay, let me explain what his narrator thing is, too. He shows up and he's sitting on a snowflake. And so apparently he's like the Great Gazoo. He's like... he is like 3 inches tall and like riding on a dog's head. And like magical. And nobody sees him. I mean, it's like... It's weird. And he's the worst animated thing out of the whole...
Oh, agreed. He is really disturbing looking, isn't he? Like more disturbing than Andy Griffith.
Yeah, his ears are like on top of it. I mean, he looks weird.
Yes.
And it's the worst animated piece of it. But so the synopsis is it opens with this number where the kids are cheering about snow and the parents are bitching about snow, because they hate it, because it shows the kids playing in it, and it shows the adults cleaning it up and scooping and like scraping their windows.
Yeah, being adults, get over yourself.
And so it shows like the two sides of that. At one point, Holly is talking to her teacher, Mrs. Carbuncle, and she's like, you have to scoop the snow, because if you don't, it turns to slush, and slush turns to ice, and ice turns to broken hips. And if I break my hip, then you're going to have a substitute teacher, and like so on and so forth.
Fine.
Yeah, right? And so like she goes on with this whole thing. And it's like, okay, well, we get it. Like the adults don't like whatever. Holly, she goes inside her house and she's doing a magic trick with Charles where she's going to saw off his head. Which I think was just like a after school special waiting to happen. But when he tells her to crack a window because it's hot in the room, she does. Her magic hat blows away. When she goes to hunt it down, it's landed on Frosty apparently, and he's come to life. And it's very John Goodman, like the attitude is different. Whereas like Frosty before was like very like, "Hi guys, I'm your friend," and like being nice and stuff like that. He's almost more like kind of a slick talking like, "Wow, yeah, I mean, what are you doing?"
Kind of in your face about this. Hey, just winter's like, great.
Yeah,
that means I can be here.
Yeah, a lot of John Goodman type characters at the time, where he's got a little bit of charm to him.
Rubbing his bowling ball around, pulling out a gun.
Yes, just like that.
Just like that.
So he, while they're like playing and talking, Lil shows up and she's got this stuff called, was it Winter's Wheeze or something like that?
Summer's Wheeze.
Summer's Wheeze. And it's a spray that...
Summer's Wheeze makes me feel fine.
It's actually...
It's a douche, right? Summer Wheeze is the douche?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's lilac and old man breath scent.
Summer Wheeze.
No, but it's Mr. Twitchell has invented this stuff, I think.
It's like a spray can.
Yeah, and so you spray it. It's like vaporize. You spray it on snow.
Yeah.
And it basically makes it dissolve. And so there's no more scooping or whatever. And so the adults are going nuts and using it.
Does it just disappear or turn to water? What's it do? Because it looks like it just disappears.
I'm sure it vaporizes or something.
Okay.
But they spray it and the snow disappears. And then like Frosty's like, oh my God, like he gets hit with a little of it. And so he backs off. Well, then Mr. Twitchell's like, I'm going to be like the king of the town because I'm going to get a bunch of this and I'm going to send trucks around.
Yeah, there's a winter carnival happening.
Yeah. And so he wants to clear all the snow out. So he's blasting this all through the neighborhoods and getting rid of everybody's snow. There's still like a park where this winter festival is going to happen that does have snow. But he decides he's going to do this to help the adults so that they all love him. Frosty, at one point, he's like, I don't know where I'm going to go. And Holly gets rid of a bunch of her like food and stuff and just puts him in the refrigerator for the day.
I guess, Holly.
Great message.
Great message.
Yeah. Get in the refrigerator and close the door,
Salmonella's
kids.
Great. As long as you can hide your snowman that talks.
Yeah. Get in the refrigerator and close the door behind you, kids.
Why are you alfing him?
Yeah,
like, why are you putting him in the attic, you know?
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
So they...
don't alf him.
They're like, well, we can go. There's the ice castle in the winter thing. Let's go there. And so they head that direction. And
Ice Castles is my favorite movie about figure skating. Ice Castles? Isn't that a movie about figure skating? I'm going to look that up. You keep talking.
Yeah. Mr. Twitchell sees him and he's just like, what the hell? And so he wants to spray him.
I'm looking that up.
So he stops his hardcore rap that he's in the middle of. And it's just like, let's go. And we're going to go after, Frosty. So he goes after him. He can't get in there.
Direct to DV.
Interesting.
A remake of the 1970 film of the same name, Ice Castles.
Huh.
Oh, so it is I knew that, see?
There you go.
Because Ice Castles has that song in it.
What song?
Yeah. You know that one song?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
So they chase him into the winter park. Well, he sends his cat in after him. Mr. Twitchell has a cat that like looks somewhere between Garfield and Azrael from the from the Smurfs. And so he sends him in, and he ends up spraying a hole through.
They say he looks like the neighbor of Charlie Brown's cat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So, but he sprays a hole through Frosty's stomach. And they're like, we need to do something.
Right. It looks like, what, Meryl Streep in that one movie? Not She-Devil. Is it She-Devil?
Death Becomes Her?
Death Becomes Her. I don't know why I said She-Devil. I got those two movies confused.
With Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah. Meryl Streep was in that too.
Was she?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I got confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to watch it all the time.
Mm.
Don't know why.
It's probably around the same time. And that's why I got confused.
Roseanne Barr played Veda Rose. Anyway, but, so they...
John Goodman, Roseanne Barr.
There you go. It's all connected.
Oxycontin, I'm just saying. Her character died from Oxycontin.
I know.
On Connors. Anyway.
So, but they... So they end up, like, saving Winter, more or less. It's kind of convoluted from there.
Well, they save it by, like, Frosty does a big routine, a dance number, and people are like, yeah, you're right. I do love snow.
Yeah, and Snow comes back.
Snow comes back, and they're like, yeah, snow is good. Yeah. We should get rid of all these Summer Wheeze cans. Yeah. I don't know. Would you want to keep them around in case, like, an accident happens?
Well, I was like, why don't you spray it on the streets?
Spray it on the street, right?
And sidewalks, but leave everything else.
Right.
Whatever.
Like, this is what you were complaining about. Like, you don't need to use it for all the snow around the fucking town. Use it for what you guys were complaining about. Like, the parents. Yeah. Which was scooping and shoveling the driveway and the sidewalk. I don't know why I'm getting so adamant and angry at these townsfolk of these cartoon, but I'm getting crazy.
You should.
Summer Wheeze.
Summer Wheeze.
Makes me feel fine. Douche. Summer Wheeze. Douche.
So, so at the end, they are like, you're the king of the town for the winter carnival. Mm-hmm. And so Frosty wins. The old man is mad at him, and he's just like, hey, you were trying to do whatever. Why don't you be the king of the carnival? And gives him the cape and the little crown and everything. And he's like, oh, hey, I'll help the people of the town. And, like, everybody is happy. Yeah. And then he's like,
you know who's not happy?
You, I'm on my way out.
Do you know who's not happy? Holly's parents. Because now they have no food. Because she forgot to put the food back in the refrigerator. That's true. We didn't see her do that.
No, we didn't.
Bitch.
And Frosty's not real happy because in this one he has a polka dot bow tie, which he brings up many times.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Calm down. We know that hat is better.
Yeah.
Because I kind of miss the hat. I like having Frosty have a hat with like a flower on it. Yeah. Right? That's iconic.
Yes, yeah.
For him. But you're like, I got a bow tie. Can you make it red next time? No. You know what, Frosty? You're going to get what you get.
Yeah, you wear a scarf when I tell you to wear a scarf.
I think that's all there is to say about that.
Too. Did we talk about the 5 questions?
We shall, but again, all 3 of these movies that we talked about are on YouTube, so you can watch them.
Yeah.
I suggest watching them because they are very interesting in the way that they are presented to the viewer in certain ways. And so we're going to continue talking about that right now.
Yes. So let's talk about what were the best parts of these movies?
That is a very good question because there's 2 things that we're talking about. I think the first movie is I like the fact that they added a wife for Frosty. So they added more of a community for Frosty to like not live alone.
Yeah.
I like that aspect, and I like the whole Jack Frost aspect of like having him kind of part of, in a way, like, their uncle. Yeah. Uncle Jack Frost, kind of in a way.
Yeah.
and these kids have parents. They're Frosty and Crystal, which are also the name of like drug dealers, like Frosty and Crystal.
Yeah.
You know,
Frosty.
I'm gonna go get my
Crystal.
I'm gonna go get my meth from Frosty and Crystal. I'm just saying.
That's right.
So I want to say that for that one, and then even though I don't remember the music, I remember liking the music in the second one. So I would say the music.
Okay.
Other than that, I really didn't enjoy the second one a lot.
Yeah.
I felt like it was disjointed from the first one.
Yes. It almost felt like it was trying to aim more at being a reboot than a continuation.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the best part of Frosty's Winter Wonderland, so the older one, I felt like it really had still had that Rankin and Bass like classicness to it.
Yeah, the look to it.
Yeah, it had the look. The music was kind of consistent. Like the story, I mean, it had all the feeling of like this is something I would have watched. You know, like I would have watched this after the other Frosty, and it would have made sense. So it has this very classic nature to it, which I really enjoyed, and all those things contribute to it. The music, the whatever. That being said, like it wasn't groundbreaking necessarily.
No.
But it was cute, and if I'm like looking for classic holiday stuff, I would feel comfortable incorporating this into that circulation, and I would enjoy that.
Yeah, agreed.
As far as Frosty Returns, you know, like part of me wants to say like, ooh, the voice cast of it, right? But the first one has a very iconic voice cast, as does this one, but in a different way. This one relies on a lot of big name, like well-established actors who are basically doing their own voice. And the other one has people who actually were voice actors. So it's kind of like they're both good in their own way. So past that, then I would say the thing that with Frosty Returns, I think I would probably gravitate more towards was like the music was arranged well. It was, I don't remember it.
But you remember the arrangement of it.
But I remember being like, when we listened to it, being like, well, that's at least an engaging song. And so there's other good stuff about Frosty Returns, but I think the best part would probably be the music. And they took some more musical chances. It was like they wrote their own stuff, and it wasn't just like regurgitating.
I don't necessarily think that Frosty Returns is voice cast correctly. I don't think it's wrong, but I think it misses the mark on the classicness of it.
Yeah, but it's that same trope where like it's the same problem that like Aladdin had, where like Robin Williams was afraid of like, if you put me in this thing, that this is going to become a trend where it's just like big name voices one after the next, and that's exactly what we've gotten to. And so I feel like that's what happened here. Lorne Michaels was like, well, I could populate this with like very
all my
big
friends
names. Yeah. And then we'll be fine. Whatever. And so like, and you see that happening. And it happens in some of these other ones we'll cover too. Late down the road. But yeah, I mean, I think the voice acting in both of them are fine. It's just like this one, you know, like as for as good as the people are who are doing it, I also would have liked to have heard like more contemporary, actual like specific voice actors, whether it was like a Billy West or Maurice LaMarche or you know, whoever.
Yeah.
D. Bradley Baker, whatever.
Correct.
Yeah. So, second question: do you think these movies stand on their own?
I think that. I mean, that's really hard because these are just kind of just cartoons. I mean, there's nothing really, and I don't want to say rewarding, but there's nothing holding its feet to the fire to make sure that
I hope not.
It should be the same as the first movie, right?
Yeah.
There's no gamble to it,
right?
Having said that, I think the first one is fine. But I think the second one, it's so like disjointed
Yeah.
from the first one that I'm just really lost. I would be really lost if I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
So, yes and no.
Yeah. I think mine is no and yes. I think Winter Wonderland does not hold up on its own. The original, the old one, the Rankin and Bass one, doesn't hold up on its own because it is seems like a direct continuation of the first one's storyline, where like he's coming back from the North Pole and whatever else. Like if you didn't know what the story was about how he got the magic hat or whatever,
but all you got to do is the song. The song is all you need.
Yeah, but that's not what we're asking about.
Honestly, though, you don't need any other explanation but the song. Do you know what I mean? The song has already been there.
Why is he in the North Pole?
Why is he? Who cares that he's in the North Pole? He's coming back.
That's part of the thing. That's
why is he in Beantown? Why is he in Beantown?
In the second one?
In the second one, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense.
No, but what I'm saying is Frosty's Winter Wonderland, the Rankin and Bass one, does not stand on its own because it relies off the continuation of the story from the first. But the second one, Frosty Returns, does stand on its own.
No.
Because it can really connect to the first one.
And I go the opposite way.
How does it rely on the first one?
How does it rely on the first one? Because why is he in Beantown? Why is he in Beantown? Why is he with these other kids? Is he going around? Is he a gypsy? Is Frosty a gypsy? That's what I want to know.
So how does that connect to the first one? So why do I need to know what the first movie does to explain what's happening in Frosty Returns?
Because I don't know what the hell's going on in Frosty Returns.
Because none of it is connected to it.
Right. Because it should be.
So it stands on its own.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It's so disjointed
Because
from it. I don't think it does. I think it needs to.
Well, he doesn't even have the magic hat already. He gets the hat from her.
We are agreeing to disagree.
Yeah. And it's okay. Sometimes you're wrong and I'm right.
Yes, and sometimes I'm wrong and you're right. Wait.
No, you're fine. You good. Okay, does this make you want to watch Frosty the Snowman, the original one?
Why would I watch it? It's ridiculous and stupid. What? Who's in Beantown? How's he get in Beantown? No, I'm just joking. No, I get what you're saying about the previous question. I just don't quite agree because I don't think that we need to. But anyway, that's beside the point. Does this make me want to watch the first one? The first one absolutely makes me want to watch the first one. I love the first one.
Yeah.
It is like my second or third favorite holiday special. So I absolutely want to watch the first one compared to the second one. The Frosty Returns, I could give a shit about. I did not like that movie. Can you tell?
Yeah, I can.
I thought it was just not great.
Yeah.
It does not make me want to watch the first one. It makes me want to watch the Peanuts. I thought it was a rip-off of a Peanuts movie.
Yeah, it makes me want to watch the Peanuts movie. Yes.
And I think that's a shame. I think they were riding on a coattail of something that was wrong.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Now, okay, so, and this will be weird. So, I think I'm with you. Like, the first one absolutely makes me want to watch the original Frosty. Frosty Returns, it doesn't make me want to watch that. It kind of makes me want to watch Peanuts. But the thing it reminded me of most was the David S. Pumpkins Halloween special.
Yes, it did.
And it was almost like he was like, well, I've done this before. Like, there was a reason that thing seemed so polished. It's because Lorne Michaels has done this before with... And even, like, the animation seemed similar. Like, you know...
Clunky like that.
A little bit, yeah. But still very... There wasn't, like, Rankin Bass level.
No.
But it was... very stylized.
I'll tell you what both these movies make me want to do. They make me want to get a Frosty from Wendy's.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Oh, chocolate.
Is that the original? Was chocolate? Why do they have vanilla then? Because you can put different things in it, like a blank canvas. Anyway, whatever.
Well, because I think people started treating them more like ice cream treats by themselves rather than And I never thought they were quite as good, but the chocolate ones are good.
Okay.
I tried making one myself, but it was not the same.
But they make me want to eat a Frosty from Wendy's.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second one
makes
me want to watch Father of the Pride with
I was shitting
John Goodman.
Father of the Pride. I was shitting upon that movie a little bit too much. Like, there are moments of that movie that I'm like, I totally get it. I get what you're saying about the David S. Pumpkin thing. I also just didn't enjoy it because it wasn't classic.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I rail against that. Like, I want something new. But when it comes to the traditions of Christmas, I kind of just want something familiar because I'm really busy. I'm trying to figure stuff out, and I just want to relax. And I just want to watch something classic sometimes. I don't want something new sometimes.
Yeah, I don't want to learn the Brian Doyle Murphy rap.
I don't want to learn that. Like, and I don't want to learn, the Devo hits of whatever.
What?
It just was wrong, and I don't know.
You leave Devo out of this.
Okay.
Would you reboot, continue, or cancel? This is weird because we got two different paths of stuff.
Yeah, there's two different paths. Reboot the first, keep going with the first one. Cancel the second one.
Okay. So I'm going to say cancel to both for two different reasons. The first one, I don't think you need to keep adding to. It's classic. Story's done. Let's just leave it at that, right? Like, I don't need to
You're
keep
wrong,
going.
but that's fine.
I don't need to keep going to like a Shrek the Third kind
You're
of
wrong.
thing, but with Frosty.
Whatever. We need a Frosty the Third. No. Where the donkey comes in.
Or they
Snow donkey.
Well, and they even show like a future thing of them with little snow babies.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I just don't think. I think that one's classic, and I don't think we need people to keep screwing around with it. But in the same vein, for Frosty Returns, I just don't want them to keep going with that. I'm done.
I didn't want that to begin with.
Yes. So I think cancel, but for two different reasons. And then sum up your experience in 2 words.
For each one of them, or just 2 words in general?
2 words in general.
Frosty Wendy's.
Frosty Wendy's?
Mm-hmm.
Because you want a Frosty from Wendy's?
Yep.
See, I was thinking Frosty Reception.
Frostbite.
Frostbite?
Yeah. Because the second one bit. Oh, I'm being mean to it. I know I am. But there's something just so sweet and classic about that first one.
There is.
That when you take the second one, I'm like, what are you doing to this thing?
Yeah, I agree.
You're making a combination of the Peanuts and Frosty the Snowman. It was. And I think you're just using that as almost, it was like
it was almost like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing where...
But it didn't work.
Yeah.
It just made me think about going, why does this look like the Peanuts?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And it took me out of it.
Yeah.
But it does have its merits.
Yeah.
I guess it's just not. I don't think it did it correctly for me.
Yeah. Well, see, I think Frosty Reception because, and again, with kind of doing a double meaning, I think, I think about like, hey, in the first one, we're receiving Frosty back with all of this. We're, I think it's well received. I think that, we're willing to accept that this is like the second part of everything that we have going on here. Whereas with the more modern one, the Lorne Michaels produced one, I think like it kind of leaves me cold, leaves me kind of like distant from it. And I give it kind of the cold shoulder with that. So yeah, I say Frosty Reception because I can use that in 2 different ways.
Yeah. Good for you. You can use it 2 different ways. All right. You like the first one and the second one, it kind of works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
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 Well, you've been deuced on Frosty. And it's been a wild and crazy ride, folks. But people can find us in certain places. You know that, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Like you can find us sometimes on YouTube.
Yeah.
Wow.
Strangely enough, just sometimes.
Yes. If the rights of the songs that we use are correct, you can find us on YouTube. Just saying.
Yeah.
So you might be able to find this one on YouTube. Who knows? But where can people else find us if they don't want YouTube? If they're sick of YouTube.
People can also find us on Google Play, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere where you can get podcatching. You can find us on Facebook at Deuce Podcast or at the Deuce Podcast page, and then you can also get us on Twitter at Deuce Podcast. Also, while you're there, if you look up our podcast mates, the Always Up Network, we use the hashtag AUN. We always have somebody who's putting out new product or putting out new material. People from all over the globe, so we always have somebody up, somebody always producing. So definitely go check those out as well.
Do that, and remember, folks, the sequel is king.
You know, kid, maybe it's time you tried a different approach. Sometimes when the words just fail you, you're scared but you know they're wrong. I found that I get much further when I turn my thoughts to song. You know why you love this season, the joy that the snow can bring. So why should you stop to reason? Just open your heart and sing. Let there be snow, let there be snow. Need I remind you the autumn's behind you, let the wind blow. This is a time of year to make figure eights across the lake. Such a magical sight when the world's dressed all in white. Whoa, let there be snow. The days may grow short and gray, or the cold may nip at your nose. But once there's a 6-inch layer, those soft flakes beneath your toes, you can't help but want to taste it or jump in a snowy pile. Why not build a fort or igloo or find a window to print your smile? Oh, let there be snow. Let there be snow. Close down the schools and let's act like fools. There's parties to throw.
I thought once you made your fortune, you could sit back and count your loot. But now that I've conquered Beansboro, I'm ready to trade this suit. I want a crown that fits me. I want a cape that flows. 6 yards of fur and velvet, right down to my crooked toes. There's no more snow. There's no more snow. Look how they love me. The clouds up above me couldn't compete with my toe. Let Mother Nature try to win. I'll give her blizzards quite a spin. Just try and stop me. No one can stop me. Let my kingship begin.
Let there be snow. Let there be snow. This kind of weather brings people together so friendships can grow. Why should we sit around and wait for summer days to celebrate such a magical sight when the world's dressed in white? Oh, let there be snow.
Hey, Charles, this is Frosty.
Nice to meet you.